What?
Funky, sure. Serve it. Here. Work it. Switch. Jocular.
Welcome to the show.
Can I sidebar with you?
What?
Is everything fine?
I don't know.
Welcome to the show.
It's welcome to Jocular normally.
Oh, fuck.
No, it's not
No,
bad. I
it's
was
not.
just
Genuinely
wondering.
forgot.
It's literally okay. I was like, are you okay?
No.
What's going on? Be honest.
No. It is welcome to Jocular. I lost myself.
But we're gonna help her find it, and that's what this episode is about.
Okay, so what you're about to hear and see is our interview with Alyson Stoner. They wrote an amazing memoir all about child stardom and kind of the effects it can have on your mind and everything. The book is called Semi-Well-Adjusted Despite Literally Everything. They're cool, they're hot, and they are very smart.
What matters.
Yeah, and
That's
it
what
was
matters.
such a fun conversation.
It really was.
Enjoy.
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 Hi! We have an incredibly special guest with us today. They are a multidisciplinary entertainer, author, and the founder and CEO of Movement Genius. And you have probably seen them on your TV shows and TVs and iPhones and other digital devices because they are so talented and are putting stuff out all the time. It is Alyson Stoner.
Hey, hello. Oh, thank you for the warm welcome.
Woo!
Anytime.
And the follow-up keeps going.
We were just asking you, Alyson, but when do you plan on sleeping? You've got so much going on.
Such a good question. Well, the book is called Semi-Well-Adjusted for a reason because I'm still working on it. But my theory is if I absolutely exhaust myself and have nothing left to give, maybe I'll sleep comparatively more. Probably still not enough, but sometime starting next January, if we make it that far.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
I think 2026 is the year of sleep. So this makes sense to me.
Because of
Societal
the
collapse and sleep.
Yeah, because of everybody
the world is
everybody be
over.
asleep.
right. Okay.
Right. We all take a permanent nap.
Yeah. 2026 is
Wow,
the year
this is a
of
great way to
death.
start this interview.
Wow,
Sorry, y'all.
this is semi-well adjusted.
We'll
This
bring
is
you
it.
back to the surface. Where are you all located mentally and emotionally today, in a few words? If you're connected enough to your body to know that, because it's okay if not.
Wow.
Well, mentally in a hole. And what was the other question? Mentally and physically?
Sure, yeah.
No, I feel like I'm like fine-ish given everything that's happening in the world.
You know that photo, that iconic image of the mother with her two children during the Dust Bowl?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Oh, that's
Okay.
good.
Gotcha. With
Yeah.
your cats?
Yeah, with my cats, Chim and Clyde.
Yeah.
Katie, what about you?
I would say I am doing just fine. As good as we can. That's what I would say.
Yes.
Physically, I slept weird, my shoulder hurts. But besides that, I could be better.
Allison, how about you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm joining Katie in the fact that I slept some way on my neck that I probably will have this kink in my neck for at least 3 weeks. But on a bright note, one, happy to be here because it's so rare to be on podcasts with queer people. And
So-
it just
Oh,
immediately
we're
feels
all straight.
Straight white men.
right.
Wait,
We're
what?
straight white men.
That's how we got the
Straight
pod.
Well, you're all phenomenal actors portraying queer people, and it helps me feel seen. And I can just feel the marked difference in my body showing up to this conversation as opposed to some of the others recently where I'm like, I should get all my notes ready. And I don't know if everything's going to come out the way I want it to. And here I'm like, hey, fam, what's good? So that's a bright spot. And also another thing that I'm grateful for is that you all are going to talk about sports. And that's something I rarely get to do, even though I grew up in a sports family playing just about every sport. So I'm
In
excited.
Toledo, Ohio, huh? Cincinnati.
Whoa. What?
Yeah, let's go.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I haven't spent much time in Cincinnati. I do have some family now in Columbus. Did someone, I also stalked you all before this, and did someone play something at OSU? Or was that a guess?
University of Cincinnati.
Oh,
Volleyball.
you did? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I'm the tall one, but Tien's the soccer star, and Katie is theater and debate.
What?
Yes, that
Yes.
is the sport that I played.
It is a sport.
It is.
And
Intellectual
thank you.
jousting.
Allison, what did you play growing up?
You were basketball, right?
Wow, yes. Basketball, soccer, softball, baseball, tennis, golf, swimming, even water ballet, dance, of course, lacrosse later for a film called Cheaper by the Dozen. They sent a UCLA student athlete to my home to train me, which was the coolest experience ever. Because I, at that age, was aspiring to be a collegiate athlete. Instead, I was just a child laborer. But
I mean, kind of similar.
there's the Venn diagram. It's not a perfect circle, but there's some crossover.
It's been child labor until the NIL deal.
Well, okay, I was going to say, I want to bring this up at some point. Like, we're treating young athletes very different now and giving them the ability to maybe have endorsements, this, that, and the other. But we're also not preparing them the same way we didn't prepare young kids in the industry to understand themselves as products, to understand and navigate fame and visibility. And I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on, we don't have to talk about this first, but what are your thoughts on, like, is this ultimately a great thing for young people to have this commercial level of interest at that age? I don't know. There's a lot here to unpack.
We've talked about this a lot. And I think that one of my thoughts, at least on this, is that and I think we experience this in our industry too. They, for the longest time, have been pretending as if these athletes were not products, we're not these money-making machines, and only the athletes were not benefiting from this.
Yes.
And so now these athletes, even though they're coming into it rather young, they are understanding themselves. I think they're understanding themselves a little bit more like a business than a product, if that makes sense. And I think that comes from the lack of gaslighting that the NIL deal is, where it's the same thing for like the industry is if you come in, you don't realize that you yourself are the S Corp, you're the LLC, you're the business. I think you treat your career differently. You have a different understanding.
I appreciate that perspective.
Yeah, I do think that like when it comes to college athletes, it is giving them a little more agency. But like in other sports like soccer or like, because I know there are like 13-year-old professional athletes and NIL deals for these like 13-year-olds and like 14-year-olds. That's where I'm like, okay, that does feel a little too young. And like, are we properly equipping them and their parents for something that is gonna like maybe lead to, a professionalization at such a young age?
Right.
That feels like a potential for burnout later on. Because I saw a interview with LeBron James, my best friend, and
Can't believe you used his last name. I know you're
sorry.
on first name.
That was weird, Tien.
I don't know
Sorry,
what you're talking about, but yeah.
Katie Kershaw, your fight master, Alyson Stoner. Thank you so much for pointing that out.
Of course.
But he was just saying that he's sad about how AAU is now these days, that there's like all these parents are like hiring coaches for their like 9-year-old kids to get like one-on-one individual training, when before you could just like, kind of have more fun and more freedom with it. Right. Do you see from just like your experience in the industry, like a parallel to what's happening between sports and that like early kind of professionalization?
Absolutely. I think we also can zoom out and look at broader cultural myths around how we view childhood as this place where adults can project their, unfulfilled fantasies and wishes on, this young child who's willing and compliant and will work hard and maybe accomplish something they wish they could have themselves. But also other myths like just kind of the rugged individualism of the U.S., where we love the idea of overcoming and pushing yourself, and through grit and resilience, you became an exceptional athlete. You're a prodigy. You're special. So I think there are like myths that are gonna be also in the debate team, in the theater space, and other arenas that still stem from a similar. I wanted to make sure Katie felt included, because you do matter and you are included in this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, I think like I had a moment where I've always been so pro NIL. I mean, these people are getting their bodies fully sometimes wrecked, sometimes not making it to a professional career. Maybe there isn't space within their sport for a professional career, but they're having a moment due to the Olympics, due to whatever, due to this, that, and the other. And then kind of two things happened at once. Like earlier today, I've been listening to your podcast, Dear Hollywood, and it's like been putting a different perspective on things, because I've never worked with a child actor, but I've worked with a few former child actors, and the level of professionalism, the level of the way they handle themselves on set is a marked difference between like an idiot who did improv and got lucky to be on a show. Me, like where I'm just like, doof, 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 and I'm like looking at this 18-year-old to be like, can you explain to me what's going on? So I started listening to that and kind of reshaping how I viewed, kids on set, everything like that. And then I saw a TikTok that was AZ Fudd doing a day in the life. And the day in the life had nothing to do with college and very little to do with sport, because she's so fucking busy with her NIL deals. Like she was doing, and that's just the day she chose. I know she has many different days, but it just like kind of put this like, oh yeah, yes, she's getting money now, but we're just using her in a different way. We're finding another way to use her body, but hey, at least she gets paid. So,
yes,
she was doing 2 Sephora ads in the morning. She had one private, and this was in New York. And then she had like one private practice. And then she had to watch tape in her ride to UConn to get back to do like one more practice and then go to bed. And I was like, where is the person? Where does the person exist?
Well, that's exactly it. I think a similarity between, child performers, child athletes, high performing students, whatever the case may, also just being a human being is enough for this to be the case. We're not given a manual. There is not an onboarding manual that says, hey, this is how this may affect your mental and emotional and physical well-being. Here are some tools for the specific kinds of activities you're going to be doing as an athlete, you're going to be doing as a performer, that can help you manage the highs and the lows, that can help you learn how to reground after you, had such a busy day that you're dissociated, but now you're supposed to lock in and play the game that you're actually was the whole point to begin with. So I think that's where there's a lot of opportunity. I know in my arena, working with young performers, I designed Artist Wellbeing Essentials, which is a toolkit for this very purpose. But there's also, for athletes, there's this organization, I don't know if you know, the Center for Healing and Justice Through Sport. Whoa. And they're creating toolkits alongside Dr. Bruce Perry, who, if you want to get geeky, you can Google neurosequential modeling. But he's helping coaches and people in the athletic ecosystems understand how to create safer, healthier environments that support the athletes holistically, and not just like wreck the body and then discard. And that's really awesome to see. So I do want to highlight, there's good work being done in this arena, but for sure it needs to become so widespread that it's the default. It's the standard to factor in human well-being. Imagine.
Yeah. And
Would
those people that don't work for studios, like I feel like you were talking about how the tutors will often work for the studio, or even we see that in student athletes in terms of like who's employed by the university versus who is actually there for the athlete. I think is, sorry to cut you off, Fight, but I think that's like a really, thank you for bringing that up and the difference between those people.
Alyson, did you feel like there was anybody in your time as a child actor that was like particularly understood the importance of protecting your experience as a child?
Unfortunately, and I've thought about this and I've, mined my memory and fact checked with dozens and dozens of people in the process of writing the book. Unfortunately, I think 20 plus years ago, child development research, trauma research, conversations about mental health just were not even on the map in the way that they are today. And so some of these dots simply weren't connected. There were well-meaning adults who wanted to be protective, generally speaking, but didn't understand concepts like bodily autonomy, for one. So if a child is on set and, the audio engineer does the familiar thing of placing a mic on your body, and this is a child and they have no standard for what normal interactions with strangers should be yet, and they've got a bunch of adults physically touching their body without even asking or checking in and saying, hey, is this okay? Or making eye contact because the audio engineer feels awkward. Like, it just leaves a lot of room for well-intentioned adults to be co-creating this environment that ends up just leaving a lot of vulnerabilities for harm, for, of course, in worst cases, different kinds of abuse, etc. But I think if my mom had been given more information, and we could even have understood the short and long-term implications of pursuing this craft in this industry at such a young age, I would hope that we would have run the other way. We couldn't tell at the time that it was going to disrupt my educational pathway, my socialization. We were just excited by the hype, like, for young athletes, like, hey, you get to go play in this camp, and a bunch of athletes who are now D1 went to this camp. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll make the exception. Yeah, we'll keep making exceptions until now this thing has disproportionately taken up your time and energy, and other key elements of your development have, been stunted, dismissed, warped, etc. To round that out, there was one adult who was my vocal coach who seemed to recognize that what I needed as a student wasn't just how to become a more marketable vocalist, but I needed an attuned adult who could show me the power of music for healing, for self-expression. And he really clued in to our lessons. And I could tell that I was receiving care in a way that other adults in the industry just simply, they weren't hired to offer care. They were just hired to help get the job done. So there were a few people. And then I started therapy at like 13 because I was like, this cannot be normal and I'm going to need help. And my therapist, of course, was this antidote to the industry. She was this person who was not enamored at all by success. She was not enchanted by fame. And that became an anchor that many of my peers didn't have, which is why I think I'm semi-well-adjusted, despite literally everything.
What a great title.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's kind of all of us, no?
Yes.
Get jocular.
What was the writing process for you like to like kind of go back and mine through these stories and kind of like, go through that emotional labor of trying to like piece together this story for yourself? Like, were you taking care of your mental health through the writing process? Like, what did that look like?
Woo wee. Well, first I brought in a writing supervisor, and her name is Anna, and she was a lantern. Without her, I would have just been in the dark. But what I learned a lot of things rapidly. One, I dare you to be honest with yourself, LOL, because all of your defense mechanisms, fears, biases, are gonna be things that need to be poked and prodded several times before you actually reach what you were truly feeling and thinking at the time. And then you have to make the decision of whether or not you're going to disclose that and put it in black and white, let it be permanent, and let the world read it. So another lesson that accompanied that was I have a lot of decisions to make about my perspective of what happened to me and what lessons and takeaways I want to share. And I realized, you can go back and revisit memories with wearing a lot of different lenses. If I look at a memory through the lens of fear, I'm going to connect dots very differently than if I go back and look at it through the lens of hope or love or possibility. And so I had to really ask myself, what perspective am I taking? And a lot of people write memoirs, and the intention is to convey like they are bold, they are resilient, they're brave, they're overcomers. And I said, before I try to figure out what impressive sounding words could be the title of this book, let me just be honest first. And what came out was a book that should be called Semi-Well Adjusted, not a book that should be called brave and unscathed. No, I'm scathed, very scathed. I don't even know what that word means. And so, I think I also realized I have to pick and choose information that involves other people in the public eye. And that is its own journey. I'm realizing that on the pathway to maybe liberating yourself, that freedom still comes with consequences. And I don't really know what those consequences will be for being this honest yet. We're going to see how people respond. But I tried to do it with as much care as possible. And lastly, for now, I'll say I've learned that the truth is not always polite. And as a recovering, people-pleasing child actor who did whatever other people asked of me, being able to actually put all of this information on the page and know that some of it's pretty fierce and direct, that there's still a place and time for that. In fact, it's necessary. I can't just sit here and smile because that's not the full story. So there's a lot of information in the book, and I just tell everyone, please read with care. Take your time with it because it's.
I like that you put that in the beginning. That was nice.
Me too.
Yeah, just it's a fully loaded baked potato. So
the
best kind.
Go off. Your Ohio is showing.
Yeah. Hey.
Okay. This is maybe a silly question, but I think it's actually a real question for me. What is harder, playing sports or writing a book?
Wait, I'm sorry. I was listening to you speak, and do you have any connection to the UK?
Do I sound British?
Yeah, I thought I heard a little bit of a London dialect. Am I making that up?
You know what? It's so funny. Something's wrong with my mouth because everybody I know at some point is like, "You from the South?" I'm getting stuff all the time. I'm getting European. I'm getting Southern. I think it's just.
Really?
I think I just have sinus issues.
Oh, okay. Well, I love your sinuses.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. It also could just be that you are influenced by so many different sources of information, and you're so worldly that.
I love that.
Yeah, your dialect is agnostic.
Katie and I actually lived in Amsterdam together for a while, so we might have caught something. Yeah.
Oh, you caught it. It was a bug. So sorry. What was your question?
Okay, what's harder, writing or sports?
Ooh. Well, in this case, the book was, I don't wish this process on anyone. But sports, listen, even when your coach is telling you to just run 12 more laps, there's something about being on the court, being on the field, being with a team, even in solo sports where you're like, I came here to do something specific. And by the end of this hour, I will have some results. Whereas writing this book is just 14 months of like, when does it end? Does it end? And we don't even know how it's going to go after it's out. The game is like, you won or you lost. And then you go back and train and adjust accordingly. The book is like...
So what you're saying is a book is anticipatory hell.
Uh-huh.
Ding, 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 ding.
That sounds fun.
And your writing supervisor, is that what it is? This is like, is this somebody who kept you on task or someone who was like, dig deeper or what?
Good question. I am hyper disciplined in terms of showing up every day and putting words on the page. It was more so she saw through my surface level assessment of a scene or a section. And she was like, yeah, no, I'll give you a specific example. She read the first several chapters or drafts of them, and I didn't realize this, but I had been protecting everyone else's reputation in my life so much that it made it seem like I had a perfect childhood. And then suddenly there's a scene where I'm, starting to show these signs of anxiety or just some challenges, very normal, feeling stressed out as a young person. And she was like, you do realize right now that it looks like this must solely be something happening inside of you, and that nothing else could have been a part of this, contributing. And when we went back and I ended up rewriting, the amount of things that made it to the page, it was shocking for me to see. And then I was like, oh, that's why you had a panic attack. No. This really checks out. This really checks out. So I know that a lot of people work with ghostwriters, and I just knew no one was going to be able to articulate things quite like I've been chewing on them for years. I started researching for this book in 2018, and I've had an outline for 7 years. So I knew what beats I wanted to hit. Oh, but wait for this part. Y'all, 3/4 of the way in, oh my gosh, I came across completely different, contradictory information about my childhood.
Ooh,
No.
And so all of the conclusions I thought I was going to draw had to be set aside while I re-examined my entire fucking life.
Oh my gosh.
And then I had to do the legal review, and the lawyer assigned to the book said, now you have to go reach out to every single person about what happened and make sure they can corroborate that it happened.
That's abusive.
whoa.
That's abuse.
That's
Oh
really
my
intense.
God.
It
How was that
15
process?
15 calls that lasted between 1 and 3 hours each.
Oh,
Y'all, like a queer breakup.
God.
Oh my
Oh, what a fucking
Lord.
nightmare.
Whoa, that's so.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
I'm doing just fine.
What did you do? What did you do after what? Like, okay, can you think back to a certain call? Like, did you have, like, you hung up the phone and you were like, I guess I'll watch Great British Bake. Like, how did you, like,
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest, this process has afforded me the opportunity, if I put my mental health practitioner hat on and say this with a little class, to experience anger in an all new way. Because I think, the lawyer's intention, of course, is to protect the material, to make sure I'm not saying anything unfactual or that's going to get all of us sued. But at the same time, I'm trying to articulate something that is my deepest core sense of truth and experience. And to have that called into question and interrogated, and then to have to then go back to the source oftentimes in this case to get them to not only confirm that it happened, but I had to produce documents, like multiple pieces of evidence related to things like my parents' divorce and, other claims that were made about my guardians that ended up really affecting our family dynamic. And I'm like, I'm seeing all of this, and I already had one story, right? I was like, this is what happened. It's okay. We've healed. We're moving forward. And then the jarring realization that there were a lot of other things going on at the same time. It truly has, it has altered my reality forevermore. And so like the book coming out for the public is its own thing. Me tending to all of these shifting dynamics in my closest connections is a whole other thing. That, I guess, will be the follow-up book about 10 years from now. I'll let you know how it goes.
We'll have you back on.
Yeah, thank you.
On Riverside from our space pods.
3000. Yeah.
Is that what you're most nervous for? Or like when you talk about releasing the book to the public, I'm sure there's some anxiety there. What's the big fear?
The fear of people's perception is something that I'm so used to because I started at 6 years old professionally. So no, it never feels good for someone to be like, I now hate you. But I've only ever been a place for the general public to project whatever they want to onto me, whether that's praise or scorn, So I get some of that. It's just out of my control. The real fear, it's not a fear. I think it's realizing, maybe I mentioned this in this conversation already, freedom has consequences. And I just simply, there's so much uncertainty. I don't have a map for what I'm about to enter. I'm trying my best right now to have preemptive conversations with people who are named in the book, but there are some people who I'm either not in touch with or it's not appropriate for me to let them in on everything. And but I know there's going to be some kind of impact. And some of these folks are, people in my family. So I'm not afraid, but I am. It's really tender. It's painful. It's imperfect. And a part of writing a memoir, at least the way I chose to do it, I'm not just speaking from the wise, contemplative self who already has the lessons learned. I'm inviting you into the very messy process and what I was thinking and feeling in that exact moment. So it's more of the psychological development of a self, and then later, of course, examining that story, picking and choosing what to keep, toss, transform, and finding a way forward. And so I'm not just sitting here and talking about everyone's highlight reel. Like we're talking about real things that did happen that I can factually corroborate in a legal sense. So yeah, I just don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What should I do, everyone? Give me some advice.
I would say release it and then take a long yacht trip into the middle of the ocean and come back in about 6 months.
That was my plan, not on a yacht, but somewhere else.
Yeah, go to like nature. Just like
nature would
take
be
a
good.
long hike.
Just think about the yacht, but everyone immediately said no to the yacht. And the yacht feels like actually a really good idea.
No, I mean maybe you can take a yacht.
Where are you going? I think there's a lot of
the middle
yacht
of the ocean on a yacht is probably the safest place you could be right now.
I think maybe our hesitation is that I don't know anyone with a yacht. Do you?
We have a yacht.
Yeah.
I should have said that. It's the jocular
The
yacht.
pod has a yacht.
I'm going on the jocular yacht.
Yeah, you can take it by
The
yourself, do whatever you
jocular.
want.
Allison, I have a book question for you again. I'm sorry, I have one quick book question for you, and it's actually at the very beginning of the book. I don't want to give anything away, but the equine therapy, do you mind if we bring that up?
Yeah.
When I was reading that at first, I was like, I couldn't tell immediately. It sounded like a dream. What is that, like a common therapy? Like I don't think I've ever heard of this in my life.
I had
really?
never heard about it either. Oh, Katie, tell us.
Oh, no, just being a Kentuckian, I have like people who've gone into it as a career path.
cool.
Because it's the horse capital of the world, baby. And it's great.
Wow, that checks out. Yes, I had no
sorry.
idea that all of these different interventions and types of therapy existed. I was in treatment, and we weren't just working with horses as the sole way of processing what had occurred, but they did offer it as, something to integrate into the overall treatment plan. And when I tell you that experience, so many things were so visceral, and they surfaced so quickly because you've got these creatures who are just ginormous in comparison to your own body. They're so sensitive to your disposition and how you're showing up. And simultaneously, a therapist is asking you to do something that might be quite challenging for you to do. In my case, it was just learning how to communicate. But that, as someone who didn't know how to use my own voice to stand up for myself, I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no. And there's this giant beast who's feeling my, anticipatory anxiety or my jitters, and is now kind of mirroring them back to me by, kicking a leg or moving the head around. And so, but yeah, it was you'll see it's in the prologue. I don't want to give away, but
I know.
it was both literal and symbolic in a very profound way, and it did open the door to a lot of realizations very immediately. So if you do get the chance to do any kind of equine therapy, if that feels like it would be, in service of your healing and growth, 10 out of 10 recommend.
Ooh, 10 out of 10.
You mentioned like being semi well adjusted in a dysfunctional society. What do you hope people can take away from your book that can be like applicable to like what we're currently living through in this time?
Woo-hoo. Well, if nothing else, I just got the samples for the hats.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You know what?
I'll send you my address.
It's all the merch. Okay.
I'll send you my address.
Yeah. Send
I haven't shown anyone else, but I feel like you all are and there's 3 here, so everyone gets one. I think there's something unifying and relieving to just name things for what they are. I think we're at a time where we're reckoning with the state of our systems and peeling back the curtain on all of our respective industries. And, we just want to say, what the fuck? Can I cuss on here? Do we?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, please.
Yes.
You can
Okay, what
fucking
the fuck?
swear.
Okay. And also, we know that if we're quote unquote well adjusted, but the society itself is dysfunctional, that means we're probably actually kind of contorting ourselves into something that's not sustainable, something that's not ultimately healthy and in service of human flourishing, our own or others. So I think it's an invitation to deeply reflect on all the ways that all of us are indoctrinated into certain stories and beliefs about ourselves and others in the world, and to take a look at that story and to say, okay, I can choose to stay in this story forever, or I might be ready to graduate beyond it and stop being in this loop where we just see yet another child star memoir talking about how tough it was to be in Hollywood. Great, we've heard that. That's been literally happening for over a century. Similarly, we all have our patterns where we're like, okay, we keep seeing the same thing unfold. Something has to change. So I think this book is a way of just peeling back the curtain and saying, y'all, you see it, I see it, we all see it. Let's move forward into some kind of new narrative, some kind of new way of being. And because the book really deconstructs every aspect of my psyche and pillar in my life one by one, I think from those who have read it, they've shared that it felt like it was an indirect way of guiding them through their own deconstruction. Or it served as a vehicle for them to do some of that themselves, to reflect. And then by the end, when I'm like, great, so now what in the story, they found themselves going, oh, maybe I too have options that I haven't been seeing for my future, or for coming together as a community, or I don't know, restructuring our nation from the ground up. You know, small things and big things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, where does you've had a really incredible career. Where does the book sit in like your point of pride, I guess? I mean, you know, this like hierarchy of pride that we might have about our accomplishments. Where does the book end up?
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to ask. I thought it was like, which parts of the book are documented in there? Because it is more so the first 25 years. I would say this book truly is a culmination of all my lived experience and now some of my training as a mental health practitioner. So I think it's actually the biggest quote unquote accomplishment. But I have to be honest, I'm not looking to use this to catapult my career to the next level. I actually want to run away forever.
Of course.
So I'm hoping that this is like, hey, this is everything I've learned. If y'all never hear from me again, don't worry about it. I'm good. Look out for your loved ones. I'm going to go learn how to play the drums.
at my place. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Down the street, apparently.
That's awesome.
So really what I'm saying is I'm about to peak and then it's a slow decline from here.
Oh my
Hey,
gosh.
as long as you know, we all.
It's like you're preparing yourself for it. This sounds great.
I think
Which I feel
disappearing
good
sounds
about.
nice.
Disappearing sounds really nice.
Yes.
I know early on in our conversation, you said you were excited to talk sports, and all we've done is kind of ask you questions about your phenomenal book. And what sports are you currently watching? What do you tune into? What athletes are you watching?
When you were saying like, hey, we talked about your childhood, I was like, yeah, and you didn't even ask how well volleyball camp went because my nickname was Xena.
Your nickname was
Xena?
Xena?
Like, yeah, thank you very much. And
Was your
won
whole team
best-
full of lesbians that wanted to?
Probably.
Tian, listen to yourself. Of course, the whole team is full of
Yeah,
lesbians.
sorry.
Well, I mean, we were 7. Actually,
That's when it happens.
and I did win an award for the best digger, D. That's a capital D.
Understood.
Yeah, and they gave me a shovel to commemorate my skills, being willing to just dive for everything. But I got that from my dad. My dad was, played aggressively, but very strategically, but he was not afraid to like throw whatever limb out to try and save the play. So shout out to Pops.
Were you a libero?
Sorry?
Were you a libero because you were so tiny? I assume you were not really tall at the time. I'm sorry, because you were 7.
I've never been really tall, so you're assuming correctly.
Thank you.
And in order to be able to spike at the net, the person actually got on all 4s, and I climbed up on top of their back to spike it over.
That's the kind of shit I love to hear.
Yeah, that's like.
And they called you Xena for that. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
I guess maybe I was Z, and the bottom of the horse was Na, and together we were Xena.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's
And
really
even
cute.
gayer. Yeah.
So gay. Yeah. And now we're married. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh my
Love it.
gosh.
Love it.
Thanks.
Listen, I don't believe in like childhood sweethearts, but if it's queer, yes, then I agree.
Right.
There it is. It's meant to be.
Yep.
But coming into the present moment, so fun fact, I don't have a TV. So while I'm not keeping up with sports. My entire family is. Oh my gosh, my dad is the biggest women's sports, not only fanatic, but like champion. He's been coaching girls and young women and just everyone for decades, but he particularly knows every player's stats and is constantly like corralling people to go to, you know, WNBA games, etc. And we know, do y'all know Elizabeth Williams, E? She's now playing, I think, for Chicago Sky. She used to be with Atlanta Dream. Then she played with the Mystics. Anyway, she's a family friend. And she's also, let me fact check myself, but she was or is the secretary of the WNBA Players Association. So she was a huge part of like helping negotiate the collective bargaining agreement, blah, blah, blah. So she's a stellar human. I just had to give her a shout out.
Her and your dad should start a podcast. It sounds like they know more than we do.
Or a band.
Or a band.
Or a band.
That's right. Well, I wonder what genre.
Who's his team?
Oh, you know what?
Or is he just like a general guy? Because I'm a general guy. I don't have a team.
Yeah, I think he's pretty general.
Yeah.
So my sister played for a period of time at UT, University of Toledo, and then was also at Bowling Green. And she honestly could have gone pro. She truly, I know there's politics, there's a lot of life variables as to why people do or don't move forward. She's freaking phenomenal across the board. She's now playing like super high level flag football as the QB. It might be a co-ed team. She's like traveling the world
That's
and
awesome.
just jockeying it up.
Flag football is so much fun.
Yeah. I mean, if you see her, I dare you
to take her flag.
Yeah, honestly, because she's a brute force. She's so smart. But yeah, we never had size, so we had to play really smart. But yeah, I think they're more so team agnostic, and it's more about like wanting to support and amplify the league overall. And yeah, I wish my dad could have joined us today. He would have been able to really chime in here.
We'll get your dad on as a guest. We'll get your dad on as a guest.
15 years.
Yes.
We'll have
That's
your
right.
dad on too.
Yeah.
Well,
that's right.
we once got a question from a listener that I hope you can answer. It was, is dancing a sport?
Ooh.
And what do you think? We have our answers. But coming from an amazing dancer, is dancing a sport?
Dancing is a highly skillful, highly competitive sport and art form and cultural tentpole. I mean, wow, thanks everyone. Yeah. And you can dance, and you can dance, and you can dance. It's actually something I didn't recognize at first. I did view it differently, I think, because of the messaging from others. But now, y'all, I was in like 8 to 10 hour training and rehearsals, and you're doing, a whole bunch of cross training, and these dance spaces are cutthroat. I now teach at a dance convention, and it's modeled differently than others, but some of them are like, you think a championship game in basketball is intense? Like, I dare you to make it through one class at a convention, a competitive convention.
I know I couldn't.
No. That's not for me.
Yeah, I tried to sidestep recently to one single song out, and I got tired.
You can do it. You can do it.
No, we can't, Alyson.
No,
I appreciate
Alyson,
that,
we
but
actually,
really
I think we can't. Something
Okay.
about it, we have to. There's something good about just also like being honest
Acknowledging
about
your
our limits.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
but if you have heartbeat, then you have some kind of rhythm.
Yeah, but I have
That's the
like
sweetest thing I've ever
old
heard.
man rhythm.
Well, if you're going to play drums, ER, you're going to need to tap into that embodied rhythm.
You know what? That's true. I've got my drum rhythm. Okay, I guess I'm a dancer.
You are a dancer. You are. And it's just everyone has a different body language. So perhaps you're just speaking in your own native embodied tongue. And maybe it's on beat, maybe it's not on beat.
Thank you.
That's so
feel-
generous.
I feel nice.
It's so generous. Thank you.
It's really generous.
Okay, shut up.
No, it's really
it's
generous.
Really generous.
No, shut
Like-
up. Okay.
Charity.
Okay.
Basically.
Allison, what's the hardest sport you've ever played? In your opinion, what's the hardest sport
Whoa.
that you have played?
So I forgot to mention gymnastics. That's its own kind of world.
Yeah.
But I think it wasn't I love tennis so much. And I basketball was my main sport, but I think the most challenging one, and it must have been because I quit, was water ballet.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
I think it's because I was the shortest. And so during all of the breaks after we would do the sequence, everyone else would just put their freaking toes on the floor of the pool. And I couldn't reach. I was treading water our entire practice
yeah.
because we weren't allowed to like
no.
hug the side. So water ballet was a little too much for me.
You
must
should
be
have been allowed to
strong.
hug the side.
Hey,
Katie, there are rules.
yeah, you gotta
No.
take
We
that
need
up
to
with.
modify for our bodies.
No, sorry, there are rules, Katie.
That's sounding
Yeah,
very
you're a dancer.
2025 of you. This was 1995. So
Water ballet seems so intense. Anytime I watch synchronized swimming in the Olympics
God.
and they're treading water and throwing each other in the air, I'm like, I
And
can't even.
smiling.
And smiling and doing dance and just like looking
Hot.
like they belong in the water.
oh,
you
yeah,
know,
that-
yes.
yeah.
Sorry.
Hot,
Same.
like hot mermaids.
Yeah,
I
I
don't get it.
it's everything can be hard and challenging and impressive, but the second that you want to do it with elegance at the same time,
Yeah.
that is where it's far too many expectations. Like we can play water polo and like, wow, this is gonna be tough and but like water ballet, you want me to do this and look poised? No.
I
Count me
just
out.
don't know why we need to
put me
be in
down
the
for that.
water. I like land ballet. I like land polo. I'm liking
Yeah.
land activities.
Yeah. What's your go-to, Katie? Also,
For a
what
land
helps you stay
activity?
sharp in theater and debate?
What? Katie did water theater and water debate.
No, I did not. Stop lying. No, I did recently, as in this weekend, go to a roller derby match as an audience member and drank enough to send an email to be a new recruit. So I'll get back to you.
Stop.
That's amazing.
What does that mean? What if you get selected?
I won't.
She has to go to kind of an audition.
I have to go to an audition. It's a boot camp.
Katie, when's the last time you've skated? I haven't.
Probably, probably since 7th grade. Here's the thing, Allison.
You're
I'm surrounded by
perfect.
people
You're
who
ready.
don't believe in me. And really
believe.
are like gaslighting and like really kind of mean. But do I
you in the
know how
room
to
with them?
skate? I was decent in 7th grade.
Katie is a little oppositionally defiant. So I was at that game with her, and they came up, and she was like, "I think I want to do this," and they were like, "Okay, here's the thing." And so they like gave her the information, and then they walked away, and she was like, "I cannot do this," and I was like, "I think you can. Like, go do it." And she's like, "I cannot." And then I said,
You
okay,
never said
and
I
then,
could
and
do
then I
it.
was like, I mean, I do think you'd hurt yourself, and you were like, "You don't think I can do it?" So there's just going to be kind of no winning here. Katie's going to decide on the day, and Katie might be joining a roller derby team,
roller derby.
and Katie might not, and that's none of our business. Okay, we're all going to leave it alone.
No, you could
I
support me.
feel like I'm hearing your side, another side, and I'm wondering what really happened. And
Allison,
Harry?
can we get your lawyers up in here for this?
Harry?
yeah.
Harry was there, but I don't think he was paying attention to this moment.
Well, I mean, I hope that most importantly, you feel more seen and supported within your community from here on out. I don't know if the people are in the room with us who are mean
They're
to
not.
you.
They're on the derby team.
Just
I have
wanted to make
go.
sure.
Bye, guys.
Alyson, as we wrap up here, we like to ask every single one of our guests a very special question.
Oh, God.
And it is, who in the whole entire world would you like to be power slapped by? Now, are you familiar with power slapping?
Give
As
me
a
the
sport.
definition.
It is a sport.
Oh.
It is a sport where two people stand across each other and they take turns literally like slapping each other across the
There's three
face.
rounds. They can't move their feet.
Yeah.
There's like a time limit for the amount of time that they can pass out on the ground.
But we're asking in a horny way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have my answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be. It's power slapped.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to be power slapped by Jessica Biel.
Whoa.
Oh, okay, that is good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
my whole body
answer,
feels hot.
Alyson.
Wow. We're all transported there.
We're all transported
Yeah.
because we're in this imaginary. Yeah.
And you know
Wow.
she lifts,
Yo.
so it's gonna have some force.
Wow.
Some heft.
You've thought about
behind
this.
it.
God.
That's really hot.
We're all going
That's
to be
hot.
thinking about this.
I guess
I
we,
have one specific image of Jessica Biel that I
Please
found
describe.
when I was like,
Yes.
I don't know, 14. At the time, I didn't know I was queer. So, of course, I wanted to emulate her. How inspiring. She looks so athletic. So athletic. And I just came across that photo. Again, it's been saved in my phone for all these years. I'm trying to delete photos to save memory space. But I was like, oh no, this one's a keeper. Because this is a special moment. I didn't know then. But wow, am I queer? And shout out to Jessica. I'm trying not to objectify you, but
what sort of keywords
she
would
was
you
mine,
say you
too, by the
used to?
way.
really?
What sort of keywords would you say you used to find this photo?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just scrolling. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But let's say hypothetically,
Yes.
what keywords should I have used? Throwing it
Yes.
back on you.
Oh, Tien. This is a legal trap.
Jessica Biel plus hot, please.
The please is the most important part.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the please. Can I have some more?
Please, can I have?
In ER's native accent.
Thank you.
Yes.
London.
Yes. A Londoner.
Well,
Exactly. Yeah.
well, thank
Well,
you so
I feel
much.
pretty sweaty.
I know. Yeah, it did kind of.
Yeah,
you really
kinda-
took us away.
Yeah,
It was
you
a
really
nice
did.
moment.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah,
was
you know.
Jessica.
It was. That's right. Give credit where it's due. Alyson, thank you so much for being here. I'm so
This has been
excited for you.
awesome.
Yeah. Can you
you
tell
for being
everyone when your
queer.
book comes out and where they can find it? And
Yes, semi well adjusted despite literally everything is available August 12th, wherever books are sold, including the audiobook read by me. And if the legal contract is approved, my own song will be the intro and outro music for the
Whoa.
book.
hell yes, that's awesome.
Can
But, you
people
know.
pre-save?
Yes, y'all can
Okay.
pre-order now. And if you want to be fully bought in, if you want to drink the
Merch.
Kool-Aid, the hats will be available ASAP as well. So
They're beautiful.
yeah.
thanks, they're fun. They're fun. It is what it is, y'all. Like, we just need to call it what it is.
Fun.
We're all flailing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alyson. Good luck with everything.
Bye, I love sports. Bye, thank you. I
Bye.
love
We
sports.
love sports.